We need to adopt a posture of listening to the neighbourhood or the community or the city to which we have been sent. And it is one of the least practiced skills I find among church planters. We turn up with our prefabricated mode of church. We know exactly what ministries or programs we're going to offer, and we place it in that neighbourhood or that city whether they want it or like it or not. But what would be different if we moved closely into intimate relationship with a neighbourhood or a city and we adopted a posture where we were listening, genuinely listening, wanting to know what it is that they want or they need or in what ways we can enflesh the gospel right under their very noses. It reminds me of the story of Jesus when coming into the city, a whole gaggle of people gather around him. They're jostling, they're after him, they want him to heal them, to speak to them. They simply want to be around this celebrity rabbi. And in the middle of the crowd, there's a blind beggar, and he's crying out, "Hosanna! Hosanna, son of David!" And the people around him, they shush him, like, "Shush, be quiet." But Jesus listens. Jesus can hear this man crying like a mother in a preschool meeting can hear her child among all the other children that are calling out, "Hosanna, son of David." Jesus zeroes in on this. "Bring this man to me." And a blind beggar is brought to him, and Jesus says to him, "What? What do you want from me?" Now, if I had been a disciple, I would have thought it was kind of fairly obvious. So why does Jesus ask? I think Jesus is modelling for us incarnational ministry, intimate, falling in love, making love style of incarnational connection. We listen. What is it that you want from me? I want to see. When was the last time you asked your city what they want from you? When was the last time you adopted some posture of genuine, meaningful, attentive, active listening in your contexts? You know, I live in Sydney, and Sydney had the great misfortune of having the Olympic Games immediately after Atlanta, Georgia had the Olympic Games. I say it was a great misfortune because apparently a whole bunch of Christian sports ministries had done a whole lot of evangelism around Atlanta during the Atlanta Olympic Games, using kind of very American kind of techniques to reach Americans who were attending the Olympic Games. And so when 4 years later the next Olympics were in my city, well, of course, they came in droves. It was like an Oklahoma land grab. There were like American sports ministers like pouring across the Pacific to come and do evangelism during the Sydney Olympic Games. I had a bunch of them come and see me. And they said, adopting a posture of listening, they said, "We don't know Australian culture. We don't know how Australians respond to the gospel. Well, you're the expert in your own context. So would you spend a day with us? Just tell us the history of Australia, a bit about Australian culture. What do Australians respond to? What do they resist?" And I, like a fool, fell for this and gave a whole day to them, working their way through all of the stuff that they wanted to hear, only to discover that at the end of the day, they pulled out all these brochures and booklets with their prefabricated, prepackaged plan of what they'd done in Atlanta, now rebranded for Sydney. I threw their brochures back at them and said, "Get out of my office. I would rather you didn't listen to me at all than to pretend that you are." Friends, we turn up with our prefabricated modes and plans of ministry and mission. We've decided they need a marriage enrichment program, an alpha program, a worship service with contemporary music. Did you ever ask? Did you ever sit down and listen to your community? Did you meet the mayor, the police chief, the head of the Chamber of Commerce? Did you go to the schools? Did you listen to the principal? Did you drink in the local cafes or ministries? I mean, what we don't need, folks, are more churches where nobody in the church belongs in the neighbourhood. No one listens. No one is attentive. No one has opened their lives. No one's making love to their neighbours in a missional, incarnational sense. We simply want to transplant what we did somewhere else and bring it to your neighbourhood, whether you like it or not. And those days must be over if we are serious about embracing a missional, incarnational stance. Listen to your neighbourhood. It is telling you how to evangelize them. It is telling you how to heal them. It is telling you how to love them. Move into the neighbourhood and listen.